Hello, everybody. Welcome to Resilience Plus Rise, where I am on a mission to unlock the mindset needed to conquer life's challenges. I would say some of the toughest challenges, and I put it as life's toughest marathons. I'm Thomas Carrier, and this podcast is inspired by my upcoming book, Resilience Plus Rise, the 26.2 transformative miles to unleash the marathon of your life mindset, set to release in 2025. Each episode, I work towards making it roughly around 26 minutes. Journey, that's the right word to say, designed to bring you powerful insights and stories of resilience. We will dive into the experience of people who have faced adversities head on, emerged with a renewed sense of purpose, strength, and hope. They are here to make a change, not only within their own self, but to the community and the places around. So if you're ready to build an unremarkable, sorry, let's put it that, unbreakable mindset and uncover what it truly means to rise in the face of challenges, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in and discover what is possible when we choose resilience. I'm quite excited to introduce today's host, Jessica Toft, or Jess, as she would be like to be called as. Jess's journey is a testament of power of mentorship and education. She's an amazing educator, fueled by her childhood experience and driven by the desire to create a positive change. Jessica has dedicated herself to improve the education, but she's so present that she's talking about the virtual education setup. She talks about empowering creativity, sustainability, and inclusivity. There's so many things too we can talk about when she talks about initiatives like Think and Grow Big, championing immersive and equitable education. So without wasting much of time, let's jump into Jess. Welcome, Jess, to the show.
Hi, Thomas. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much for being present. A lot of people who have known you, and you have got a massive following on LinkedIn and the other social media, but people see a certain frame of you that, okay, you're an educator, you put out the good. But if you could take us through a journey, what got you where you are today from where you have you been? If you could share with the listeners, the it could be the challenges, or it could be the thought process, it could be the mindset. What drove you to the place that you are currently in?
Well, thank you for the introduction. So I work in the school district in special education. I work primarily with students on the autism spectrum. I work in a program that has, I believe right now we have 5 students who are high needs on the spectrum. They might be nonverbal, they might have some behavioral issues that are really challenging and need extra support. So I also work with students who are not as high need and they are in general education. So I go with them individually to their classes and I help support them in whatever way they need, whether it be emotional or social, which it can be a really big struggle. And so I just kind of walk them through life at school, and that's really all they need, which is, I think, what a lot of people need is just more support. So I wound up there because my daughter, a couple of years ago,
Hmm.
she was being bullied at school. She came home and she told me that there was a game that her friends were playing with her every day at recess, and it was called Danger. And it was where whoever was danger, everyone would point at them, laugh, and run away. And she always had to be danger. And she didn't understand what was happening, but she knew it didn't feel good. She actually, at that point, asked me if she could go to therapy. as well, which was kind of mind blowing to me because, I mean, we had never crossed any roads like this before. And so I got her in therapy right away. And she had told the therapist what was going on. And it was clear that she was missing some social emotional cues. And it was causing her a lot of anxiety. And it got me to look further into what was going on with her, because my degree is in early childhood development and I ran childcare centers for 15 years. And I know how children develop, the psychology behind it. I also got to bring my daughters to work with me when they were 4 weeks old. They were sitting on my lap. I could hear everything once they were in their classrooms. So I always knew what happened before, during, and after every event. And I always just looked at my daughter as though she is who she is. And I understood her. I might not always have agreed with her or have reacted the way that she did to situations, because she did have big reactions. I just, people are different, and that's what makes
So,
us wonderful and beautiful. And I accepted that. Well, when she was going through childcare, there were a lot of other students her age who also demonstrated some similar behaviors. And they were kind of bizarre. They were
oh, okay.
very enhanced. And I understood from their perspective, because that was my job. My job was to provide quality childcare and education to the best of my ability by hiring teachers, training them, and staffing a center to provide this second home, so that parents knew that they were bringing their child somewhere to leave them for a whole day, and they were going to be loved and well taken care of in the way they needed. So, it really kind of was mind blowing when we entered the public school system. I had no idea that that wasn't how everyone operated.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it it really is. And I work in the public school system. I have tons of teacher friends, and I think they are wonderful. And I think some are more skilled than others. But it really is about one person teaching a room full of diverse learners,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, they're getting more diverse in the way that they think. Neurodiversity is not supported in a way that it could be supported. And when I started Think and Grow Big, it was with the vision of a global education system that redefined special education and embraced all the students, where no one student was separated based on being different, because that affects them.
Of
Um,
course.
my daughter didn't want to have accommodations because she didn't want to stand out. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really unfortunate, because why are we providing accommodations that are furthering trauma, childhood trauma? And if our executive functioning isn't right, if we don't have a baseline to build from, then we're not learning anything when we go to schools. So, Think and Grow Big came about in my mind to meet all the students where they're at, their needs, how they learn. And the teacher just shows up and supports them, walks them through the experience, and the student gets to learn through experience, which we only get, in life when it happens. But we could provide them with a safe space to
Okay.
accelerate the learning process. So that's kind of how I wound up here.
Okay. That's fantastic. So, a question which comes up over here is that when you were growing up, did you always want to get into early childhood education, or was it a dream, or you just organically as life took it? The reason I'm asking this particular question is that I'm a mentor with a few of the major Western universities in Canada over here. And there are a lot of times, and yeah, even grads and undergrads, and in fact, some of the amazing kids. And a lot of them I've heard is that, yes, I want to be a teacher. I want to be involved in special education. I want to help. So the path that you took, now, what I just heard was your daughter was having the challenge about being considered as a danger, and then you went further on. But how would you put that growth to be? Is that for people who want to get into this particular line of early education or help children with challenges? What is the type of suggestion or advice that you would give?
Okay. Um, so I don't think I grew up dreaming to be a teacher.
Okay.
Um, but I also didn't grow up dreaming to be one thing. It changed. It changed throughout my whole life. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a ballerina. I wanted to be like all these things. And I've
Okay.
had, I don't know how many jobs. I forget about all the jobs I've had throughout my life until I drive past somewhere and I'm like, oh, I used to work there.
Okay.
Um, because life should be a ride. It should be an experience that we enjoy and that we grow from. And I believe the same thing about people. I love new experiences with people. I have about 50 million ex-boyfriends and a couple of ex-husbands. And I've kind of come to a point in my life where I don't know if it's me or if it's the system that we believe we're supposed to be a certain way. But if that way doesn't work, I don't believe we should keep going that way.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
um, I believe that if we get to know ourselves and discover what we love, what we don't love, we will be better to all the people around us. We will have more empathy and understanding for them. Um, and everybody else will feel safer to be themselves too. So I didn't grow up wanting to just be any one thing, let alone a teacher. But when I went to college the first time, because I also went to a couple of schools, I did go for early childhood and youth development. I fell in love with some classes that I could totally see myself going off in that direction as well. Um, but when it came down to it, I really like to have an impact with anything I do in life. I don't like wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I wanna see results, whether it's for me, for my daughters, for the world, I want to see results, and, we only have a certain amount of time to be here, so I think we have to be actionable and intentionable.
Fantastic. And yes, as you call yourself, you're a global citizen, and
Mhm.
also you're a fashionista. And the
Yeah,
other day, you're talking about designing sustainable fashion.
yeah.
Uh, do you want to talk a little more on that, or another question which I would come up to is that how do you manage to juggle all these different roles or the different hats that you put on?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure I know the answer, but, sustainable fashion is needed. We only have one place to live, and I'm we're wrecking it. We're ruining it, and it's all based around consumerism and money and this false thought that we need things. And the I mean, we don't need things. We need people. And we can't have people without somewhere for them to live. So the more I've connected with different people around the world, the more I've learned about the problems that are everywhere. And that's why I think travel is so important, and children need to see more than just their town they live in. They need to see how other people live. They need to see other cultures. They need to know that there's more than just them, and that they can be anything and do anything they want to do. So I am really blessed to live in Northfield, Minnesota. It is an amazing town. We have two colleges, St. Olaf and Carleton College.
Hmm.
So it's a town filled with educators, and educators do what they do because they want to help people. That's so simple. And to be surrounded by people that want to help people, and then new minds. Whenever new students start, it's new minds to mold, and it really is a breeding ground for innovation and creativity. And so they had an event, Runway Revival, a few months
Hmm.
ago in my town, and I designed two dresses out of plastic bags, and my daughters got to walk them down the runway. Which, for my oldest, who is on the spectrum, she has been so shy her whole life.
Okay.
Her little sister and myself would make her friends all the time. She had so much anxiety around it. And to get to see her walk down a runway in front of hundreds of people,
Cool.
hundreds. I
Wow.
mean, like, when I don't know if you've ever done anything, Thomas, that is so scary, but once you do it, you get this sense of self that you didn't know was there, and it really is so magical. So
Yes.
that really lit a spark. I was also in a vintage fashion show at the community center, senior center, where they told stories that went behind the clothing, through women throughout time and what they went through, and that also lit this new fire inside of me, that I started to really realize the generational um, struggles, and how, if we are not carrying those torches, it was for nothing. So everything I'm fighting for now, if my daughters didn't have that same fire inside of them, it would just be for nothing. And it's important that we do something about that.
Hmm. Interesting. I would love to get more into that. Maybe we can have another talk on that particular element. But there was a word which you touched on, creativity and innovation. And you are spearheading the VR education.
Mhm.
Would you want to say a few lines on that?
Well, so I developed this character. I'm an artist as well. So I developed this character, Miss Jess VR, after myself, because I look at these students who struggle so much with social skills,
Mhm.
and you could show them. You could just show them. Like my daughter, who's so scared to walk up to someone and say hello. I put the Oculus, is what it was called back
Yeah.
then. I
Hmm.
put that on her, and there's this little robot that mimics your facial expressions. It responds appropriately, and she just lit up. And it asked her to dance, and she just put her hand out, and they started dancing, and she wanted to go again and again. And it made me think, well, there's these students in this classroom who could benefit so much from learning how to socialize. You could put me on a VR headset and I could meet them in there, and we could walk through experiences together. It would save the school money for so many reasons. It would save the teachers time. It would help these students tremendously. There's so many things that people need solutions to, and this kind of fits the bill on all of them. So I've been partnering and networking with people globally to develop these experiences, Miss Just VR experiences. The base is empathy and inclusion. So you step into an experience and you learn how to empathize. And when someone can empathize with someone else, it's like reflecting what's inside
That's
them. So
true.
there's no better way to learn. And I'm just it's endless. There are endless things to solve in the world. And there it's like micro projects with macro impact.
Wow, that's a very, very powerful statement. Could you just say that again? Micro.
Micro problems with macro impact. The small things make up
Yeah, of
the
course.
big picture. Hmm.
Fantastic. So, just a question which comes up over here is that I'm just going through my mind. Okay, you're a fashionista, you're a educator, you are a designer, you help in various projects, and I've seen on LinkedIn you're the president of Marine Foundation. You create the VR innovator. There are so many things that people they think about and they say, no, I think so. It's too many things. But you are showing that it is possible. Just being a little mindful of the time. Now, if you have to advise people who want to push their boundaries, because the way I look at it is that we are ordinary people, but we add a little extra, and people call us extraordinary. So that extraordinary can be done, or the resilience can be done by many people. They can reach to the next level if they strive towards it. So, if I could ask two things. Number one is that how do you manage to juggle all these particular things? And second thing is pursuing the dreams. As you mentioned, yeah, the world evolves, the life evolves. What advice would you give people about juggling too many things? Because again, one of the most important things, you're also a mother of two kids, growing
Hmm.
kids who need your time and energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you talk to tell people about who are juggling different elements, and also for people who want to pursue their dreams? Because Jess, what I'm seeing is that you are an epitome of so many people's dreams that wish I could do this, wish I could do that. And you are showing that dreams are possible. What would you say?
Well, thank you. That was really kind. You know, it's got to be hard, right? You have to push yourself. You have to just do it. Um, and I've always just done it. It's not always been by choice. In my mind, it's been because that's what you have to do. So every time you push yourself, you get stronger and it gets easier. And then you do it again. And sometimes it takes longer before it gets easier. But I
Sure.
think that the times that are harder and longer just make you stronger. They make the bigger things happen. It's like weight training, right? You
Yes.
start a little bit, and then it gets easier, and then you do more, and then you do more, and then um, you, there's little improvements throughout the whole thing, but those little things they turn into the big thing, and that's what you want. So I think it's really easy to go. "Oh, I don't want to. I don't
Of course.
want to. I want to watch TV. I want to go to, have a drink with my friends. I want to do these things that really it's kind of recognized as normal, but they're not. I think it's important to focus on health. And if you really focus on what is good for you mentally, spiritually, physically, it's
Mhm.
not the things that the world says is normal. Um, s-
That's a good one.
So, to get back down to the basics, to utilize what you have and to not want more and to just do it and to just, let God move and to be like water when it's not working, don't do it and find a new way and eventually a way will work. It will. Um I don't I try to be like water. I try to live with as much joy and as many things as I can add
Okay.
as possible. But you can tell when it's getting to be too much, and then you just have to take a break. You have to let go of that fear that if you stop for a minute, you'll lose everything because you push so hard. But the truth is, if you keep pushing and you don't know your own limits and you are not balanced, then
Bon-
you'll push yourself too far and you won't be magical anymore. You will be you will lose bits of yourself.
Fantastic. Wow, that was amazing. That was so amazing. So, guys, I'll be putting out Jess's connection on LinkedIn and other social media platform. Do connect with her to find out what she's on to, what she can, what changes she's bringing around, and see if that can be a reflection to what even you can do. Also, I earnestly implore, please like, share, subscribe, because you don't know when we are having this particular talk who would be listening to it and how it would be impacting them. So please do that. Just let me take this moment of saying a huge thank you to who you are, what you do, and the human that you are in the space and time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate you.